Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves, and we're talking about the Shostakovich cello concertos. Now, again, we live in a day where you can hear everything a million times, and the Shostakovich cello concertos have been recorded a million times. Very, very well. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, there are zillions of them, but you got to pick one. And I have my favorite, and my favorite is this one. It's Heinrich Schiff, the amazing Heinrich Schiff, with the composer's son, Maxim Shostakovich, conducting the Bavarian Radio Symphony Orchestra. It was originally on Philips, now it's on Decca. This is such a great record. Absolutely a great record. And, I know, the concerti were dedicated to Rostropovich. He recorded both of them extremely well. Extremely well. Most people do number one and ignore number two. Number two is an awfully fine piece. It's one of those hidden treasures and also extremely necessary for our understanding of Shostakovich, because the end of the second cello concerto is that same tick-tock figure, that tick-tock into infinity. That thing? That amazing sound he came up with. That's how the second cello concerto ends. And he uses it at the end of the scherzo of the Fourth Symphony, and of course to close the 15th Symphony. And it's one of those leitmotifs. And if you don't know the second piano concerto, then your understanding of Shostakovich's musical world is not complete. And the first cello concerto, I love the first cello concerto. It's just the most neurotic piece of music anybody ever wrote, bar none. It really is. I played this for a friend of mine. He had to go to a psychiatrist afterwards, especially the first movement. That first movement, when the cello is going at the top of its range, oh God, with the low winds with the contrabassoon like oh, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this performance just relishes every creepy, gnarly, neurotic little twist and turn of the music. It's incredible. I mean, Schiff is dazzling, absolutely dazzling throughout his range. And Maxim Shostakovich, who could, is hit or miss, in his dad's music, just pulls out all the stops. And he really lets those woodwind instruments tell, which makes the whole performance just unbelievably powerful. And so, I don't need to belabor this, because this is a very famous recording. I'm not the only one in the world who thinks it's like the reference recording for the Shostakovich cello concertos. Lots of other people do, and with good reason. It's simply amazing. And I really can't stress strongly enough that, these are such great works. Shostakovich, he's taken a little bit for granted nowadays. He wrote a lot of music. Now we're all listening to his film music, so we're getting to enjoy the more populist side of what he was doing. But, despite all of the scholarship that tends to blur, the lines of who he was and what he tried to do and how he sounded and all that, when you hear something like this, when you hear a piece like this, which is just so intense and so powerful and so direct, everybody's trying to find hidden messages in Shostakovich. And yes, they exist. Apparently they're there. But let's not ignore the stuff that's on the surface. We can't miss seeing the forest for the trees. And there's a lot of forest in these two works. They are gripping, emotionally devastating works. Fabulous, fabulous works. Full of wit and sardonicism and intensity and upset and angst. And darkness and giddy craziness, and there's such a world of emotion in this music. And you don't have to know anything in order to enjoy it and appreciate it. You don't have to know anything at all. It's just there for the taking. And here it's offered to us in the most palatable possible way. So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.